Welcome to Beyond the Strokes, a podcast by Hayat Arts where we uncover the stories and inspirations behind the canvas. I'm Safa Peshimam, your host for today and the founder of Hayat Arts. I'm joined by a truly creative force, Avigyan. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Through bold strokes and intricate details, Avigyan's art isn't just seen, it's felt. It speaks of heritage, introspection, and the untamed spaces between reality and imagination. A storyteller at heart, Avigyan has become a dynamic presence in the UAE's art community and a proud voice within the Hayat Arts platform. Okay, are you ready? We'll begin?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my first question to you is, can you take us back to the moment art first called out to you? Like, was it a person who, inspired to it, or it was just a random thing?
So, back when I started, I was a child, and I don't have much memory of that time. But I think my art career really started off with my solo exhibition.
Okay.
That I wholly and entirely credit that to my parents, because first and foremost, it was my mom's idea, and essentially, I didn't think it was going to be possible. She thought. Right? She always believed in me far more than I believed in myself. That's always been the case. So, in essence, she came up with the idea for a solo exhibition. She was like, "You're good enough for your age." I'm like, "No, I'm not. Not for a solo exhibition." And after that, we talked about it. We talked with my dad about it. We then, talked with my mentors about it, my art teachers at the time, because most of my art career I've been self-taught, but I did learn the basics. Like there was this one school teacher, and he was incredible in the way he taught the basics.
Okay.
Right? And a lot of people have actually learned from him, and they've gone ahead with professional careers and so on with art. So I learned from him. I had the fortune of learning from him. We asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, go for it." He's good enough for his age. Of course, he's going to improve, but he's good enough for his age that he needs something to push himself, and this is going to be the point.
Of course.
Right. And that's where I started off. It was back in 2013, I believe. I was just 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, 2015. I was
Okay,
13 years
perfect.
old. Right. It was a hell of a moment for me. Like, I didn't think we'd have even like 10 guests. We had like almost 100.
Whoa.
Right. It was huge. Like, everyone we invited showed up. And at one point, my dad was really worried that our hall was going to overflow. That could have been an issue, but thankfully it wasn't.
Okay, so tell me, were you nervous when it happened?
Well, I think the best way to put it is that initially, I was obviously nervous that no one's going to show up, and after that, when too many people started showing up, I was like, well, there's a lot of people, and a lot of people calling out my name. They want to ask a bunch of things. I don't know how to reply. Right. At that point, I had like half a brain cell, and I didn't really know how to deal with these situations. I'm much better off now, obviously, because I've been through a lot of these things. And I think one of the things that surprised me more than anything is that a chief guest, right, he was Mr. Ibrahim Gialani.
Okay.
Moment he arrived, everyone else also showed up, all of our guests of honor, mentors and everyone, and then we just prompted into an art tour. Yeah. And we thought, most of my paintings at that time, they didn't really have so much like meaning or anything as such, not like they do now. Like I didn't have any genuine stories prepared. I thought, okay, most of these are photoreal style of paintings, and essentially, as we went through, Mr. Gill, he himself said, "Okay, explain this to me." And at that point, my heart started pounding so hard, I thought I was going to have a stroke. And essentially, I somehow managed to, come up with stories on the spot. And that's when I felt like, okay, I understand my artworks. And that was an inspirational moment for me. It was like, okay, I'm thinking like an artist, and I can surely be one.
That's amazing. I mean, you were just, 13?
Yes.
And to have actually, said about your art at that time, I don't think it's possible by a lot of people. But amazing. I'm
Thank you.
very proud of you. Your artwork is amazing and it's like improved so much, definitely.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And okay, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, how has your art journey helped, see yourself as an artist now?
Let's see. I would say that as I've gone forward, I've realized one thing. Right, I specialize in photorealism. That's been one of the things that came very naturally to me. But I've also realized that as I tried painting abstracts, abstract is very good at expressing emotions and expressing thoughts.
Absolutely.
Right. And I'm sure you understand.
Of course.
You would know that. But my thing is, as an artist, I feel like I don't quite have an established style yet, because most of my years, like I have 10 years as an art journey, and majority of that I've been an emerging artist. And so, as an emerging artist, my goal was not to establish a style, but rather to improve my craft and be genuinely good at what I'm doing. Right. Now that I'm fairly good at what I'm doing, now I'm able to think about a style. So I think my art journey has evolved in such a way that I first realized my specialization, which was photorealism.
Of course.
I then realized that photorealism has its limits with expressing emotions and thoughts and so on. So my plan so far is that I want to create a style that basically takes advantage of photorealism to showcase what I'm capable of, to showcase skill in a manner of speaking, and to also showcase beauty, because photorealism is one of the truest forms of beauty that we can have, and then express it with abstract and impressionism. Right. And it's going to be a delicate balance that I'm going to have to figure out, but it's been something that I've been thinking about and planning.
I mean, experimentation is the key.
Yes.
Okay, what emotions or inspirations are conveyed through your artworks?
Okay. So as I mentioned previously, when I was an emerging artist, I didn't think of all these things. I was just like, I need to improve myself one way or the other. It has to happen.
Of course.
But then, I think around 5 years ago, I decided to paint based on themes, based on what I want to express with my artworks, rather than what I want to paint.
Okay.
So, what I've realized is that what speaks to me more than anything is that, quite simply, human emotions and the complexities that we have. Looking at emotions in face value, it's fairly simple. Like, yeah, we have like 5 or 6 of those.
Yes.
But the complexities that they have, right, I'll give an example. Defiance. It's a derivative of anger,
Yeah.
but we don't always go through defiance. We have the feelings of defiance, but then we curb it with logic, and that's something that mostly only humans can do. You can't really expect animals to understand and foresee what's going to happen based on their actions.
Most certainly.
And because of that, we have a lot of contradictions in the way we express ourselves as opposed to what we're feeling. So that's been one of my topics. So another topic that I really like to work on, it's similar to emotions. It's about how human logic differs from actual logic itself. So the way it works is, let's think about perfection and the fact that it doesn't actually exist. We all know and understand that real, true perfection doesn't exist. But we'll often just not only pursue perfection, even though it doesn't exist. In a way, it's a really nice motivating factor, because if you can't achieve something, you're constantly going to be improving. And secondly, we often just maybe lie to ourselves or even convince ourselves that something is perfect. We'll say, oh, this is absolutely perfect, or this thing is perfect, the situation is perfect. But that's not really the case. We know it's not perfect, but we just say it out loud. Maybe it's to just express joy. But whatever the case, it's a beautiful subject to paint, and that's something I can say for sure.
As artists, I wouldn't think it's wrong to say we are crazy.
Oh,
the way
absolutely.
we think is absolutely different to what others are thinking about art, or be it logic or perfection for that matter. Yes.
Crazy is just another imperfection.
Yes. Moving on, tell us if you have any particular medium or technique that you love using, or you're more into that.
Right. So I started off with watercolors. Right? It did not match with me because I'm very particular about the exact kind of thing that I want from my paintings. And watercolor is more about accepting what the watercolor is going to do for you.
Yeah.
Right. It's about how you can intuitively interpret what watercolor is doing, right? And that's not the way my mind works. So unfortunately, watercolor wasn't the one for me. Then I moved on to acrylics. Acrylics was fantastic. And initially, I thought this was going to be the medium for me. But essentially, the thing with acrylics is that it dries really quickly. And once again, because I'm so stubborn about exactly what I want, if it dries too quickly, I can't get what I want. So after that, I thought, okay, let's try oil painting. I mean, I've heard such good things about oil painting. And well, that's when it clicked. Oil painting was the one for me. And it's very simple. I like to work on my paintings for quite a few hours. Right? And essentially, I need the colors to not dry in those few hours. I need flexibility. And that's the only way I can do this. And it also stems from the fact that the reason I'm self-taught is actually because I want to not know how to do things. Like every painting that I do, it always has certain elements that I have no idea how to do. I've never done it before. And that's a beautiful thing for me. That struggle, in a manner of speaking, is what keeps me going. So in that regard, oil painting is very helpful because it doesn't dry off.
Yes.
So there's that. And well, I guess in a way, if you have knife paintings, then both oil and acrylics are fantastic, because with knife, with such thick colors, it really doesn't dry off all that easily. So you can keep going with that.
That's true. I mean, I haven't worked a lot with oil colors, but when I did once, I was like, it was beautiful. The way you can just keep fixing it, you can keep changing. Oh God, it is amazing. Yes.
My whole process is trial and error. I have no real technique, just trial and error. I mean, I do intuitively, but trial and error is the way I do things.
Definitely. Okay, moving on, we'll talk about the UAE's art scene. What's your experience been like you working in the UAE's art community, and how has the cultural diversity impacted your perspective?
Yes. So, I would say I'm actually very familiar with the way culture works in the Middle East because I grew up in Oman. Right?
Okay.
And a lot of the culture over there is very strong and it's very beautiful. It impacted me greatly. Like a lot of my paintings I derive from the cultural learnings that I had in Oman. And then I went to India. And then India showed a lot of differences and also similarities. It was distinctive in its own way. And I think having experience with that, it's a beautiful thing. And then when I came to UAE, now that's another beautiful thing because I guess the best way to put it is that how I experienced a certain distinction and difference and similarities between the two different cultures, there's like 10 times that here. So in a way, it's a fantastic way to understand cultures and then to utilize that understanding in the way you create your artworks. And this is something that I've genuinely cherished quite a lot. I've been exhibiting in UAE even before I actually got here. I've been exhibiting since I was in India.
Okay.
And well, I've been noticing these things more and more, and now that I'm here, I'm just knee deep in it. So it really helps out.
Okay, I mean, UAE is definitely a place for opportunities, and it pampers us in a way, you know.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yes, yeah. Okay. These again are questions about Hayat Arts. So recently, you have been appointed as the representative. So, how do you view the platform, Hayat Arts' role in uplifting the artists?
So I think Hayat Arts is absolutely stunning in the way they do things. You are able to understand what artists need, right, and you're able to give it to them in the best way possible, right? And that's something I appreciate, and I'm sure every single artist that works with you appreciates that as well. So I think the best way to put it is that Hayat Arts genuinely cares for the artist more than anything else, and that's something I think is very important, and it's something that a lot of people, a lot of curators, especially like in India, I've seen this. I don't want to name any names, but I've seen in India that they, once the artist is already paid and they're in the exhibition, they're like they don't get a lot of considerations and so on. But I get that a lot from you and understand that. I appreciate that deeply.
Alhamdulillah, I'm glad you feel that way towards Hayat Arts. I mean, we try our best to, do everything for the artists. I mean, the whole platform is for them. So, Alhamdulillah. Okay? So, you've participated with us multiple times now. So, tell me a moment that you have loved or that has truly stayed with you.
So I think the participations, was fantastic and all. I loved every single one of your exhibitions. Incredible stuff. But I think the moment that stood out to me more than anything else is the day you asked me to be your art representative. Because the fact is this, I've been an artist for around 10 years now, but majority of that, as I mentioned previously, it's almost entirely been as an emerging artist, as someone who's just trying to perfect his craft, not someone who's trying to become, a well-known, renowned artist. So the fact that I've emerged from it and actually become an artist, this is, credibility that I'm getting for myself, that you're giving to me, that I am indeed an artist, because if I wasn't, why would you get me as a representative?
That's
right?
true.
So that's basically something that really stood out, and it really touched my soul.
I mean, you deserved it. I mean, having you as a representative was amazing. As an artist, you are brilliant as well. So we are honored to have you.
Thank you. Means a lot.
Okay, so we're finally down to two questions. So what's one lesson that, throughout your art journey has stayed with you?
Let's see. Well, that's a difficult question, to be honest. But I guess the one thing that I constantly tell myself is, and this is also my own doing, because I always go for artworks once again that I have no idea how to do. At least certain parts I have no idea how to do, right? And I struggle in that. But it's a very simple phrase: don't stop. Right? And that's something that I've always cherished, because every time I'm stuck somewhere, I'm like, don't stop. I need to keep going. I need to keep going. I need to keep going. And that's basically what I've been telling myself for ages now. I think like 7-8 years ever since I thought of that phrase, and I really saw this, how much it impacted my psyche. So I would say that just don't stop. And it goes for every artist, really. Like if you just started and you're unsure about yourself, don't stop.
That is true. I mean, a lot of artists, they face difficulty and then they're just like, they give it up. I mean, that's not how you, go go ahead, but
Yes, true.
hopefully everyone understands that the way you do. So this question is more of for the viewers. They would definitely like to know where they can see your beautiful artworks.
I see. So almost the entirety of my artworks are available on my Instagram. Everything that I've done, all the exhibitions that I do, any and all accolades that I have, they are always posted on Insta. So you can find me on Avigyan Art Space, Avigyan_Art Space on Instagram, and well, that's where you can see everything I've got to do.
Perfect. And definitely go visit his website or upcoming website and his Instagram, because his work is amazing and you should definitely get inspired by it.